Oh, hello out there. How are you today? Welcome to another episode of the Bot Signal. My name is RJ Redden. I'm a bot strategist, a ninja, founder of Black Belt Bots. I've worked with businesses, very small businesses, usually on their marketing technology for more years than I care to admit. And I fell in love with messenger bots about 2 years ago. Hey, everybody, good to see you here. Today, entrepreneurs hire me to join the messenger marketing revolution because most are carbon copies of everybody else online. They feel like they're screaming into a black hole with their marketing. They lack engagement on and offline. So I help launch a powerful digital message by botifying people and increasing their engagement, visibility, and their profits. So thank you. The Get Up is here. It's here to stay. You know what? I was kind of hiding my personality there for a while. I don't know why I was doing it. Maybe I'm seeking to impress, or I have no idea what I was doing. I love the Get Up. And I wear it every time I speak in public. And all of my friends who speak with me, who see me speak in public, then watch this show and go, "Why aren't you wearing the goggles and the cape?" So it's just permanent now. Just want to let everybody know. Oh, it's a party now. Yes, it is, because Lindsay Badger is here. So today I've been getting a lot of questions actually about customer service bots lately. It's just been an odd thing. I had a friend ask me about them over the weekend. I had another friend ask me about them today, and I wanted to address some questions that people have, and I also want to tell you today just the main three things that you absolutely have to have in a customer service bot, because it's essential, it's vital, it's some of those things that we don't, we think that everybody knows, but maybe they don't know. So we're going to get those out front and center today. So first of all, what's a customer service bot? Most of the time when people say that, they are talking about that little chat that runs on a website when you land on it. There are many companies that have been providing a chat service on your website for many years. They have varying expense. I know that I was looking at when I was in corporate slavery, I looked at Intercom. What a fabulous service. I so absolutely loved it, but so expensive and really prohibitive for small business owners. And there's been a lot that have come out since then that have, lower price points, things like that. But when people are talking about a customer service bot on a website, that what they usually mean is the one that sits on a website. Now I have the ability to put bots on websites of my clients, and the bots run through Messenger, as you might have guessed. Of course, I talk about Messenger all the time. And those have a lot of the same type of capabilities as the other bots do that have been kind of sitting on websites forever. Liesl's here. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, this is the cape. I wear it every time I speak in public, and it's a little pop of color. I like it. It's good stuff. Okay, so that's just wanted to establish what we're talking about. These bots that I'm about to tell you about, though, I'm going to talk about this at the end, but I want to tell you right now, just so you can get a vision of it in your head. They could go other places too. They don't have to be on your website. And a lot of people, for years and years as small business owners and digital marketers, what are we told? Drive them to your website, drive them to your website, drive them to your website. Well, SEO has evolved in a number of ways in the last few years, and you've got Google ads, and you've got other kinds of ads, and you've got Bing, and you've got all of the stuff. And driving traffic to a website, it's, you got to make them want to go, usually, but people still, depending on where you're at in the process, you might be getting a fair amount of traffic there. So perfect. Putting a customer service bot on your website capitalizes on the fact that somebody is there looking at your stuff. They're probably not in the wrong place. They're probably looking around to see what you got, see if what you have or what you're presenting on those pages anywhere, seeing if what you have fits what they need. And so putting something there to say, hey, how can I help you, is a huge deal. It's a great thing. And with these three things inside that bot, it can also be a total game changer. So on with the three things, shall we? All right. One, and by the way, if you feel like testing this out, go to blackbeltbots.com. If you go there, you'll see, of course, Spinning Dragon is hanging out there. You can see some of these things that are not back-end things. You can see them in action and experience exactly what I'm talking about. So, number one, you need on your customer service part of your chatbot, you need the ability to ask a question right away. Do not bury this, my friends. People expect, and they expect this because of their interaction with all of those other chat programs through all of these years. They expect to be able to ask a question right away. What I put in the chatbot is I like to personalize the greeting a little bit. I say on my website, I say, greetings, grasshopper. Do you have a question for me? I have that stuff right away. But what you want is the ability to you can put a choose your own adventure right there up front, but always, and when I talk about choose your own adventure, that's, you give them 3 options. If you want to give them 3 options like that, make the third option ask a question. Do this thing. Do not think that you know everything that is in a potential client's mind when they land on your website. Do not think that you know that, because it's impossible to know that. So if you are going to do options, make one option ask a question, and make it so that they can type an open-ended question in there. Make it so that they can type anything they want in there. Sure, you can totally lead them along a closed loop of FAQs and all of that kind of stuff. But what if that person that's landed on your site, that has taken the time to answer your chatbot, that is tapping through that stuff, can't find what they need? And then they end up having to ask a question, type something long form anyway. I like to give them this option up front. I really do. It just shows that somebody's listening and somebody cares. That is absolutely what's missing in customer service these days. We have automated to the point that it's not even human anymore. People like it when people pay attention to their needs. And it also kind of depends on your demographic. So let's talk about that a little bit. If your demographic skews older, if there's what's part of what's called the front counter generation, people in the generation probably above me, they're a bit older than me, that they went to the bank every week. How long's it been since y'all stepped into a bank? But people, front counter people, people who want that kind of service, they feel alienated a lot of times by all of the automation. So if you can put a little personality, put a little personalized greeting in there, along with the ability to ask that question, that's some good stuff. Website bot, absolutely. Always wanted to put the bot on your website, lots of traffic there, but I feel like I don't capture it. And I think a lot of people feel that way, and just because I did a lot of marketing technology for people through the years, I know too that a lot of that stuff is sometimes robots that are crawling your site for Google and all of that kind of thing. So, don't feel like you're missing out on everything. But if you put something like this on your website, just put it up there in a simple way, then they at least have the ability to interact with you. They at least have that ability. And that is important stuff. That's important stuff. Most of my clients have one of these on their website, have something that allows people to ask questions and engage with them. Because honestly, if you're not engaging with them when they have the question, it's going to be gone. It's just going to be gone. Websites are a dime a dozen, a dime a trillion. I don't know. And people will, if they, if they get distracted or something happens and they don't get a chance to interact with you, I don't even remember, my friends. Type in here if you remember. Type in the comments if you remember the last time somebody contacted you through your contact page and it was actually worth it for you to follow up. I've got a contact page on my website. The only people who have ever written that thing are looking for a job. And not, or looking for me to hire them to do something. People who are cold emailing contact pages. And I mean, I've received plenty of these, but I have not received yet so far. And I've had a website for a long time. I've never received a lead that's been something that I wanted to follow up on. People don't click through to that page. We all have them. Nobody uses them generally. I could be an outlier. Who knows? But just wanted to throw that out at you and just let you know that that the contact page, that's just, people have to click over to it. And then, okay, so every one of these is a layer of friction. Imagine this. When you have to click over to another page, that's a layer of friction. When you then have to put in your information, your full name and your email address and a subject line and a little explanation of why you wanted to contact somebody, that's a big layer of friction. Okay. And then hitting the send button, that's not really friction, but then there's another layer of friction that's called waiting for a response. That's why contact pages don't work. They just don't. I needed to take it off my website. What am I doing with a contact page? Anyway, so very good. Allow the people an ability to ask a question right away. If you can, make it an open-ended question. And absolutely, if you're going to give them a couple of choices, that's super cool. I was working with a lady on Friday, really awesome person that is providing accountability services to the world. She's awesome. And she had a couple of options that she wanted to provide people right off the bat. Are you looking for this or are you looking for this? But on that third option, allow them to ask a question. If they aren't looking for one of those two things, or, and this is most likely the case, if they're not sure what they're looking for right now, then it's time. Then it's time to have that ask a question on there. Okay, thing number 2 that you must have for the customer service bots: the ability to alert you on the backside when someone has a question. You've probably seen all of these things that say, unless you get to them within 5 seconds, something terrible is going to happen and somebody else is going to get them, and all these kinds of things. It is true that the more time is lagged between somebody asking a question and getting an answer, the more likely you are to lose that person to whatever it is, to a distraction, to a bill comes in and they go, yeah, I don't have the money for that. I mean, to anything. You could lose them to something shiny, and that's absolutely true. What we can do to combat that: if you're using ManyChat for your bots, you know that there's an action you can do called Alert an Admin. Alert an Admin will send you a text message in your messenger or an email if you so choose. I don't choose that, I don't. But it'll send you a little note saying, hey, something needs your attention right now. If you also properly set expectations that operate, don't ever set the expectation that operators are standing by. What I do is I say, do you have a question for me? Have people write down their question. And then I say something like, great, I'll summon RJ. Usually takes her, between and, usually she'll answer a question within a day, something like that. Can't remember what I actually have on there. But I set expectations that I'm not sitting by the phone waiting for somebody to hit my website and for them to type in a question. I'm a busy person. I can't always get the things right away. So properly set expectations along with that little notify admin action, because I assume that you're putting this on your website because you want to serve people, because you want to catch them when they have that question, process that question for them, and get them an answer as soon as you can. There are people in the world who want to create a bot to put on their website to do lead capture, that never want to talk to anybody. Those aren't my people. If you're looking for that, go to the ManyChat community. People will help you out. Fantastic. I'm wanting to help you create a relationship with bots, to help people get to know you, for you to get to know people, and for all of that. I've said it before, I'll say it again. We are not making barbecued chicken. This is not a set it and forget it experience. And that brings me to a point. The magic, they say that the magic is in the response time. Not my experience. If I set proper expectations by saying, hey, RJ will be back in an hour, or RJ will answer this usually gets here within a day, or something like that. If I set proper expectations, that timing, that doesn't seem to matter. The magic is not in the timing. The magic is in the live chat. The magic is in being able to say, and I always do this when I'm answering my my website chat, I always say, hey, this is RJ, not the bot, so that people know that it's not Spinning Dragon answering them, that it's really, really RJ. I let them know it's me, and I proceed to have a conversation with people. What does that show people? What happens when you do something like that? People feel like you care. I one time hired a karate instructor. This was a bit ago. Hired a karate instructor because I really wanted to get into martial arts, and I had called all around to all the places all over town, and I felt like those people were all selling me. I called up the final number that I had kind of sussed out on Google, and that guy was a sensei who answered his own phone. And he talked to me for a half an hour and invited me to his dojo that night. I paid that guy money. You know that I did, because I'm impressed when people answer their own stuff. When there's a human being at the end of this. We all, I'm going to get off on a rant. Rant alert. It's time to stop thinking of each other as transactions, and time to start thinking of each other as human beings who have questions and problems and everything else under the sun. And if we can help with that problem, we might be able to, step that relationship up a little bit. So proper expectations. You're right, Tish. And to me, that's just, it's so important to say, here's a good time frame, because then I'm not feeling the pressure. I'm not feeling, that pressure, that little blinking light pressure, that little, oh my God, I gotta be somewhere. You don't need to suffer from that. You can get back to people without having to feel that. I promise you. And then getting connected in the live chat, that's where the magic really happens for me. That's where I start to A, help people, but B, let me just take a big example here. I am working on a bot right now that has 3,000 people in it. It is a keto diet, keto way of eating. Sorry. Hope the guys aren't listening. It's a keto challenge. It's a 30-day challenge. Hundreds of people join this challenge every single month. And I am currently going in along with my client and cleaning out that inbox and making sure that everybody's questions get answered. Guess what happens? When you're reading everybody's questions, guess what starts to happen just automatically? You start figuring out the patterns of the questions that people are asking. You start coming up with answers for those questions, and then setting those answers to be able to be called up when people type a certain keyword, so that people get their answers right, Johnny on the spot, right there. They've got it already. They've got it before you show up. The other thing that starts to happen is when I start to notice those patterns of questions, then I go back to my source material. I go back to whatever it is that I was writing or doing, or I go back to the copy on the website and I go, oh, those people have this question at this stage. because I didn't answer it way back here. You can start to figure out where you can pre-answer these questions and address issues before they come up, creating that Disneyland experience that people walk through and they absolutely love. So, end rant. Well, probably not, but you know. Anyway, magic is in the live chat absolutely every time, my friend. And you can be yourself in that live chat. You don't have to have generic language. You can personalize that up. You can use, pictures, emojis, GIFs. You know the routine. Okay, so third thing that I recommend for everybody's customer service chatbot, third thing I recommend is lead them to a different place while they're waiting. While they're waiting for a response, choose that opportunity to ask them, do they want to see a video, read an article, do something that is, do something while they're waiting. You can make the while you're waiting item as simple or as complicated as you want. Here's what I prefer. I prefer to offer people a mini course right there, because what that will do is keep them involved and engaged with my chatbot for the next week. They'll be, tuning into that for the next week. I will, of course, come on and answer that question within 24 hours, no problem. But they can keep learning about the services that I provide and what a chatbot actually is and all of that basic information. They can get that just by being there. And that continued sort of showing up, giving valuable information, being there for people, that makes an impression with people. Absolutely not everyone has hired me that has ever come through my website chat. Absolutely not, my darlings. That would be absolutely insane. But I can tell you that when people are sizing businesses up, and this is happening, right? People are sizing up your business all the time. How does this compare against the other businesses that I've seen that are similar? How does this size up against businesses who are, just general businesses? How does this size up against everything I've ever seen? People are sizing us up all the time. And when we can tap into a know, like, and trust factor, then we're in. Then that's the kind of bond, that's the kind of connection that we're looking to make with chatbots. So lead them to a third place while they're waiting, my darlings. You can totally lead them to a video. The most recent one you have, you can do that. If you're going to do a video, I suggest keep it short, under 5 minutes long, under 4 minutes is best, and under 3 minutes is optimal time. Keep them in the chatbot. Don't send them out to YouTube. YouTube, there's an awful lot of things to look at. Part of the magic of Messenger is that they're just looking in that one place and that nothing is coming up to distract them from what the messaging is. It's part of the absolute beauty of Messenger, right? Is that it's not on Facebook, that there's not 50,000 notifications turning a number red and make you anxious inside, that there's not all these other things to click on and blah, 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 blah. 80% of the time, they're looking at Messenger on their phone. They're only, for that moment, they're only consuming the message that you are putting out there. They are connecting with that message because there's not as many distractions. So always with the video, please put it in Messenger. Don't put it somewhere else and link out unless it's some 25-minute long thing and you absolutely have to do it, because Messenger will only take, there's a size limit on your videos, as is everything in Messenger. There's a size limit. So, my darlings, So it can be anything from a video to a 7-day mini course to a 30-day challenge. It can be anything. As long as you've got them in, you've got their question, they have expectations as to how soon you're going to answer that question. And now take that opportunity to say, hey, I've got some cool stuff here for you. It's like Geek Christmas. You want to open it? That kind of stuff will go a long way to actually putting people through, putting people through those experiences that you've designed, actually getting them to consume that and make their decisions, whether they want to self-select out or whether they fall in love with your personality or fall in love with what you do and decide that you're the answer to their issue. Now, if you guys have any questions, by the way, just toss them in the chat for me. I'd be happy to answer them. One thing that I want to, so we've got the three things. I'll repeat them. Ability to ask a question right away, the ability to alert an admin, that's probably you, isn't it, on the backside, and have you come answer questions, and then lead them to a third place. Lead them to that third place while they're waiting for you to come answer that question. Now I want to talk to you about something else entirely, and that is I've got this bot run on my website chat. If you go to blackbeltbots.com right now, you'll see it. It's right there. Where else could we have this type of interaction? A lot of places, actually. You can have this exact same interaction on your Facebook page. Now, I know Facebook page traffic lately is, well, not great. Not great at all. Probably will continue to drop. Honestly, if you want traffic straight to your Facebook page, I know a lady who does Facebook ads really, really well. So there's that. I know there's not a whole lot of traffic, but sometimes people are actually looking at Facebook pages, especially if you've just started one or if you've done a round of inviting people to your Facebook page. They will go to the actual page, not just see a post float by in their timeline or whatever. People do actually go to pages occasionally. I know that I do it too. And if they hit send message, if they got this exact welcome sequence, that'd be cool. You could also put in we send emails all the time, right? I know. I do it. You can put a link to this very sequence in the signature of an email that automatically sends out with every single email you have all the time. Why not? You put it in once, my friends, and people can ask you questions forever. Wouldn't that be cool? A lot of people get to my bot through social media landing pages. Social media, they allow you to give a link on Twitter, on Instagram, on some of those platforms. I put that link everywhere, and people can come in, they can ask me questions, and then they can get into a mini course if they want to. So once you have this beautiful, perfected, once you are so very excited to have it on your website that you just can't even stand it anymore, think about where else it can go. Think about where else it can go, because that will help you. It'll help you more. I have done many things on Black Belt Bots from the beginning. As you've probably noted, I experiment a lot. I love to throw spaghetti at the wall because it makes me that much more knowledgeable when I'm talking to my clients about the directions that they need to go. Makes sense, right? So I've done a lot of experimenting, and entrances that give people a perceived value right off are huge. The getting people in through those, that's huge. You may not choose to put the link to this particular sequence absolutely everywhere, because you might be doing an awful lot of customer service, and maybe you're just not built for that, or maybe you don't have assistance, that kind of a thing, or you may choose to. You may choose to connect with people. I would so much rather connect with people who are interested than I would, if I had a choice between billions of people in an audience or connect with about 5 of them and answer their real questions and maybe attract 1 or 2 toward what I have to offer, I take the second one every time. Numbers, audience numbers, all of that kind of stuff. It's vanity metrics. It doesn't matter. What matters is how many conversations have you had this week? How many conversations have you had in your bot this week? That's what matters to me anyway. You may choose differently. It's all a choose your own adventure at this time. But anyway, that's what I got for you today. That's kind of the cheat sheet on the things that you need to absolutely have if you're going to do a customer service type bot that sits on your website and connects with people when they land on your website. It's a fabulous idea, people. It's a fabulous idea because we're a little website weary nowadays. Have you noticed? So yesterday, this is it's not totally off topic, but it's kind of off topic. Many of you probably know this, but Notre Dame burned yesterday. 900-year-old cathedral in Paris. And I have personally been to that place twice. And I'm a huge art and architecture freak. Anyway, that's something you didn't know, isn't it? Anyway, I saw that yesterday on Facebook. One of my friends was like, "Oh my gosh!" And he had taken a trip with me many moons ago to see those cathedrals. He had said, "Oh my gosh, look at this, what's happening." And I'm like, "Whoa!" And so I immediately Google and I'm looking through everything because I want to know if the rose windows survived. They didn't. Anyway, I'm looking through these websites and immediately I'm kind of annoyed at what I need to pick through to get to see what I really want. And we're kind of all that way on websites nowadays. We're just, it's like this. It's like somebody brings to you an entire 7-course meal on a tray and says, "Okay, what do you need?" That's what websites are like. Messenger is like you're hanging out at one of those parties and somebody comes by with an hors d'oeuvre. Here's the thing. Here's the one thing that you need. This is the one thing that you've asked for. Here you go. Love you. Do you want anything more? Could you take anything more? No? Okay, I'll go away. That's what Messenger is like. It's not bringing up everything, so you have to sort through all the things that are just, this isn't what I wanted to know, this isn't what I wanted to know, this isn't what I wanted to know, which is most of your website, right? Just bringing them the thing that they absolutely want, and they can make an instant decision. Do I need to go further or do I need to not? So what you're doing with these bots is you're just allowing them to make that decision all that much sooner. And when people are looking for a solution is when they happen upon your website. Sales are more easily made when you're connecting with somebody who, happens to want what you have right then. So hope that was understandable. Yeah, it was devastating to watch, wasn't it, Teresa? It was just, because I've been there, and to read that. We're talking about the burning of Notre Dame yesterday, everybody, which seems like off the topic, but it was strangely on the topic today. It was just reading about all of the art that was lost. Darlings, my heart. Anyway, we are not here to be sad. They're gonna rebuild it. I was an exchange student for a while over in Europe, and trust me, they rebuild over there. They rebuild, and especially what kind of an incredibly historical national landmark like that, a world landmark, really. Anyway, so that is it for today, my darlings. If you have any questions, toss them in the comments for me right now so that I can answer them for you. If you're watching the replay, toss a question in the comments and I will answer it for you. I promise. If you want to type live in the comments, and you will never miss another episode of the Bot Signal, because I send reminders out to people. Because I love it when you join the show and ask questions and participate in the chat with me. I just love it. So I'm going to be back on Thursday, and we're going to talk about another bot topic, because we just always do. Let's see. Teresa says they say a lot of it had been removed prior because of renovation work that was already underway. There were some statues on the top of the building that had been removed like less than a week ago. Crazy, huh? Anyway, back to bots. I will certainly be back on Thursday with a topic of my choice. It will be bot related. I can promise you that. Until then, if you've got questions about bots, get a hold of me. You can get into my bot by just typing live in there in the comments, or you can, ping me in another way. But seriously, a spinning dragon is waiting for you, so take advantage of that. Back on Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. And with that, my darlings, I will see you in a bot.